What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode with your boy Phrankleen, and with me here today is
Victoria. Hi,
Victoria.
everyone.
Say hi, man.
Hi.
Right. So we are basically looking at today's topic, which is do some African Instagram skits reflect childhood dysfunction? So, what do you think about skits and comedy? What does that mean to you in the first instance?
Oh, well, yeah, comedy, what makes you laugh, etc. But in the context of what we're talking about, I personally do not watch, should we say Nigerian or African skits as such, unless I come across one that I actually find funny, but that I actually search for one to watch, I really don't.
Why is that then?
Because most of them are like one trick pony. Most of them are just like doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no creativity. Everyone call themselves comedians when they actually are not. They see that something's working for somebody,
and then everyone
jump on it, and it just becomes boring because
Right.
I can sense and see no creativity. It's hard to actually sit down and write a storyline that will actually capture your audiences.
Make them laugh.
From
the core of their gut, and really, yeah, you're absolutely right. For me too, I think I share a similar belief in the sense, that first of all, you know me already. I've got a great sense of humor. I can laugh my socks off, when something really cracks me up. I've got a great sense of humor, and comedy is great.
Yeah.
Laughter is a good medicine, they
Definitely.
say. And when there is I think the beauty of comedy is when there's a good delivery of it, the
Yep.
punchlines, and then when maybe there's things that have been mentioned resonate with you, they hit you right, you laugh, you kick back, and we black folks can laugh and really throw back and enjoy ourselves, which is amazing. But in line with what you said, let's narrow it down, like, some of these, let me just put a disclaimer, which is, this is not intended to lump everyone
Definitely not
into a category, or we're not sat here and trying to, suggest that, all African comedians or Nigerian comedians are whack or they're terrible. But the observations that we've got is, there are some, we're not going to name anyone. There are some comedians who you can tell they're naturally gifted.
Yep.
They're funny. Some are so funny that even their facial expressions will crack you up. So, but like you say, that there is a huge amount of laziness. But speaking of dysfunction, which is, the main thing that we're talking about, do some African Instagram skits, reflect childhood dysfunction? And we're talking about, does, upbringing reflect in the materials put out by the said, self-proclaimed comedians?
So what we're basically trying to say is those comedy or skits where you see characters being parents and children, and the child is actually being slapped or beaten, or so that's the direction we're taking this conversation. For me, I might come across a skit, for example, where that's happening. Maybe a child that has done something wrong or said something wrong,
right,
and there's a big slap, something thrown at the child. You might find it funny at that moment, but then when I look at it critically, and look at it
critically being the objective word,
and you look at the outside world looking in, it might be funny for that moment, but then we are being seen as a culture of the way
violent people,
animalistic
people,
and I understand that many of us went through that, and you might I think we find it funny because we relate to that, but is it actually right that is a comedy? Exactly.
I mean, I grew up with a couple of smackdowns too, in my time. So we can relate in that, in that sense.
Yeah.
But when I look at some of these comedians, right, particularly if we narrow it down to, like, say, the Nigerian so-called,
because that's what we watch.
Yes, we watch them a lot. And the beauty of the internet is You have your devices in the palm of your hands. You have your laptop. You can be sat anywhere, and you wouldn't necessarily meet these people in person, but you can see their content by following them on Instagram, Facebook, and all the lot, which is bloody marvelous. But, like you were saying, one trick pony. There was a trend whereby certain comedians, like we say, we're not naming anybody, so they don't come after us. But I'm sure people listening to this can follow, in the sense that there are certain comedians that it's the same outcome.
It gets boring.
It just gets boring. So basically, like you said, there was a scenario of a father, mother, or a father and a son, and you realize that every time the child tries to express themselves or say, "Oh, mom, why have you done this?" "Oh, mom, well, I don't know. You were wrong in doing that." And the parent reply with a dirty slap, with a beat down, or a series of slaps. And when you look at the comment section, we soak it up. People are laughing. The laughter emojis, they pour out in thousands. And to me, it's deeply worrying, isn't it? What do you think, Victoria?
I think so too, because some people might just say, right, it's funny, it's good to laugh. And I'm saying, yeah, I agree with you, it's good to laugh. But for me, I'm looking at it to say, right, there is no way that... Personally, I didn't grow up with being beaten, but the words my mum would tell me is as bad as enough.
Yeah,
even be beaten.
Sorry to interrupt you. Even words, and I think I've learned that over time, us being together and stuff. And in fact, you even made me realize in certain occasions, words are powerful.
Very.
In fact, words. So we've got to not be careful how we disseminate this. Like maybe some people might think, "Oh, I'd rather." Somebody said it depends on what's being said to you. There are words that are known to have gone to destroy lives.
Definitely.
Because if somebody repeatedly says to you that you're not going to amount to anything, especially as a child who is young and vulnerable, and people say you're never going to make it, and they impress that on the child's mind, and you hear that over and over.
Oh, how stupid you are.
How stupid you are. How incompetent you are.
Yeah.
And then the child might then buy into that ugly narrative and go into the world thinking they are a never to do well type, and they would never be able to rise above that. So words are deadly.
Yeah. It's just as bad as getting whooped.
So like I was saying, you said something at the start about the world, especially those that are not, the non-blacks and stuff, looking into our community.
Yeah.
Because I worry about these things, and unfortunately, there was a culture on the likes of Instagram or Twitter. The moment you try to articulate yourself or tell people that, "Hey, man, this isn't right," they tell you you're hating.
Yeah. So people might even look at this video, this audio recording, and say, "Oh, we're taking it too seriously. It's just funny stuff. Why can't we just accept it as funny stuff?"
Yeah, and lest I forget, the attitude, the culture of, and this is, let me say this in a very careful and clear manner, hopefully. I think we're a bunch of people, most of us black folks, heavily traumatized, because we have come to convince ourselves that those repeated, really dangerous cycle of physical violence that a lot of us were subjected to by our parents are in fact acceptable, are in fact the only and the appropriate way to raise children. Do you see what I'm saying? And you know me, I'm big on discipline, right? Yeah. But when you look at a lot of these skits, what do they tell you? They reflect the dysfunction. They reflect the cycle of abuse.
And most people that do these skits is personal experiences that they
absolutely
from.
Thank you.
So
my mom, I mean, don't get me wrong, there was one that I think we both watched this morning, where the girl was just saying something to her mom. Of course, they're trying to be funny. The dad is sat there, and the dad was actually, I think skits revolved around the COVID-19, and the dad was actually saying to the mom that, "Oh, let us say something, this and this," and then the girl was trying to take an exit out of the kitchen, and then the mom said, da 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 da, and then pow, pow, and then, you look at the, and
I
to
don't
me,
find that funny.
I pause and I think, and this same so-called Instagram comedian has numerous skits that everything ends up in physical violence.
Gets boring.
And then people say, oh yeah, I remember when I was growing up, my mom would hit me with frying pan.
There you go, personal experience. But I can tell you, at the time when that was happening, you were not laughing.
Nah.
You were not finding it funny. You were more than likely traumatized.
Absolutely.
But then you grow up, you see skits, and you think, okay,
it's
my
funny.
connection to it, let me start laughing. Me, personally, I don't find it funny because I'm thinking the wider picture. I'm thinking other people are looking at us as a community, as a whole, as a nation. And we get it here on the side of this world where we are seen as right. That's the way we treat our children.
And, yes, and the same parents, sorry to interrupt you, the same parents are the ones that will flog and force religion down the lungs of the same children. That's why, this is why I keep talking about mental conditioning. That's why you have people to check it. So you're a child, so you don't have a say, right? Mom and dad picks you Sunday school or to the mosque or whatnot, and the cycle every week. Well, this book from whatever years and blah 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 blah. This is how it is. We also grew up like that. So basically, that's Pastor X, Pastor B, Reverend. You do as you're told. You don't question them. So you grow up without mental conditioning. Even if Reverend such and such is abusing child such and such, you don't ask questions. You don't talk back. And it's the same conditioning, the same parents are the same ones that force this religion and things down your lungs, and you're basically mentally wired in a way whereby you don't talk back. We come from a background whereby when you dare to ask questions, this is not even about speaking rudely. It's regarded as being rude for daring to even express yourself. And a lot of us, that's why you hear so many teenagers and even people in their 20s or their 30s and say, oh, you hear that a lot in our community. You never have your African parents most African parents never really sit down and talk to you about sex or talk to you about, okay,
did you get sex education?
Never, Nibo. Don't share any. Where? Never.
So you went into the world to learn.
To learn. By bringing my own gunshot out. Blood, fire. And I mean, it's all well and good. But that's how, like, for example, so many females end up become single moms, end up with unwanted pregnancies. So many dudes end up becoming dads overnight.
To be honest with you, I think the section where you're going, it's another topic because there is so much that our parents have not taught us.
That's why people,
how to have
you don't have to figure out.
Outside of the home setting, sex education, relating with other people, which is going to be what makes you a person when you step outside of
So we're talking about the formative years.
Honestly.
So a lot of things are lacking. So tying it back so we don't go astray now into what we're talking about. Do you agree with me that some of these comedic skits, unbeknown to a lot of these people that generate this content, they reflect this dysfunction and it reflects badly on the wider black community? Because you realize there's a lot of them online. Even there are some bigger comedians in Nigeria, I digress now, who are household names, I'm not naming anybody, that boldly walk into an auditorium or hall or location where there are thousands of people watching them, and they just flagrantly talk about rape. They have materials. They're all over the web. So some people listening to this would know who I'm talking about.
Right.
There are some of the so-called big names.
Right.
You know why? Because we live in a culture where misogyny is like, patriarchy is like, it's a norm. I understand comedy allows you to push boundaries and stuff, but what sort of boundaries are we pushing? So you're pushing boundaries. Should we be glorifying
Some people
rape?
might say now, oh, we're taking this too seriously. It's just a
Well,
joke.
they are.
Right.
Trust me, they are entitled to their own opinion.
No doubt.
They are entitled to their own opinion. But talking about the dysfunction, there are so many people that are in their, maybe 30s, 20s, 30s, even in their 40s and even older, that they are people deal with trauma that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
You live in you come from households where, dad and mom is slapped from left, right, and center. The kids are never allowed to express themselves. So it becomes an alien type of behavior when those people become parents and their daughters are like, mom, no, I don't want to go to that party. I just want to stay indoors and just read and watch a movie. I don't what do you mean you don't want to go to that party? I'm telling you, mom, this is not about you're asking your daughter to clean their house or something. Mom, can I go? Do you get this? Shut up, keep quiet, bang, bang. I've met several people that they would say, what? I dare not sit down with my mom or my dad and try to have an opinion.
You don't see how that is being passed on. It's a generation thing.
Absolutely.
So it's going from grandparents, the way they've treated your parents, and your parents how they've treated you, and you don't know any better. You're passing it on to your children.
And so now, the danger of the times that we now live in is we have internet, right? So what these then does is it's another type of, it's vicious cycle on steroids, in my own opinion, because we live in times where we've got technology now. So basically, they're reinforcing the same toxicity. Because if people can sit down and soak it up and laugh about it, find it acceptable. Oh, it's in the name of comedy. What it does is it further trains the mind. So what happens to the young men and young ladies coming behind? They buy into the toxicity, and it's a norm, and on goes the vicious cycle.
Remember I said earlier about the world looking in? I'll just expand on that a little bit.
Yes.
Remember you told me a story of a woman whose son, was it pushed her down the stairs?
Yes.
She broke her arm?
Yes.
She went into his school to report what he had done.
Yeah. Here in the UK,
and the school flipped it back on her to say, right, we understand that he's done that. It's wrong, blah, blah, blah.
He was a 14-year-old boy.
They've done nothing to him.
Yeah.
But then they said, right, if we find out that you are going to probably try to beat him or something, then we'll call social services.
Because they already have a stereotypically generated perception of that woman. They have a preconceived notion. In fact, we live in a society where, prejudice is deeply rooted anyway. That's already against us as black folks. So then we give them ammunition, because they already have a preconceived notion that, we are notorious for inflicting abuse on our kids. So even when you are an innocent parent and you've not done that, they already have those things working against you. So now the danger is with people putting out these materials whereby we are really showing that we are nothing but a bunch of savage, bunch of abusers. Then when they use it against us, we cry racism.
Yeah. And it gives them an opportunity to take your kids away from you.
Anyway, that's me done. Let's keep the conversation going on below. It's your boy Phrankleen. Thank you for listening. With me here once again is who?
Victoria.
Yeah, so I hope you people are staying clean, keeping safe, washing your hands, and keeping the social distancing and stuff. I hope everyone is hale and hearty. My regards, my love to you if you're listening to this. If you like what I'm about, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's keep the conversation going on below. Do me a favor, please, okay? Share this on your social media platforms. And this episode is sponsored by Sendwave. Sendwave is basically an app that you can download within the 2 shakes of a duck's tail on your mobile devices. Sendwave, type it into Apple Store, download the app, or your Android devices. So you can basically use it to send money from the UK, the US, Italy, Ireland, and Spain to Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and a couple of other countries, okay? Within the 2 shakes of a duck's tail without any commission. Type in the promo code Phrankleen, okay? PHRANKLEEN, my YouTube username, and you get £5, $5, €5 added to your very first transaction. Okay, it's your boy Phrankleen, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye-bye. Bye from Victoria.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.